Hello, this is Moses Jacobs for the Barra Spoken Word, and I'm talking to John Bernard. And my guess is that you're in Coventry. Is that right?
You've guessed right, yeah. I could have been anywhere in the world.
Must be psychic. John is one of two Coventry poets who will be coming to the Barras on the 9th of August. Today is the 1st of August. And together with Sujana Crawford, he will first perform in Cork itself, in Bhéal, and then himself and Sujana will come down to Clonakilty, the Barras, hopefully with an entourage of other Cork poets and people. And they will each do a reading, and then there will be an open mic. And John, I think I just looked on the internet as well, and I saw that you have been present at Bhéal a couple of times with your work. Is that correct?
Where? Sorry, where?
Bhéal, or maybe it's a different John Bernard. I don't think so.
Different John Bernard, yeah.
Sorry, I even pronounced your name wrong. John Bernard.
Right, yeah. That's
okay. Yeah. Okay, because I was Googling and then I thought that you'd been on Zoom sessions earlier, but that isn't true.
Oh, I think I might have done. But this was a while ago. This is probably like 2 years ago, maybe, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, there was something around Christmas.
I think that was with Fire and Dust, right?
Ooh, I'm not sure. Fire and Dust is in Coventry. Bhéal is in Cork.
No, I thought maybe it was like a Zoom session that I did, but no, definitely not. I haven't. Then.
Okay. So my guess is also that you've not been to Ireland yet.
My first time, and I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Okay, great. Because it is like a kind of Coventry and Cork are twinned, not because their name starts with the same two letters, but I don't know why. But there's been an exchange of poets from Coventry and from Cork, performing in the other city. And until that all happened on Zoom, they used to come to Clonakilty as well, which is a very small town west of Cork. Okay, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Do you mind?
Yeah, no, of course. So my name is John Bernard, as you said. I'm a spoken word poet, musician, based in Coventry. I'm from the south side of Coventry, a place called Stoke-Aldermore. That's where I grew up. And since a young age, I've written poetry. I combine it with music as well, as you've heard with I Love You Beyond Words. And I'm always trying to sort of just push the boundaries, of spoken word poetry as much as I can. And I've had the wonderful opportunities to work with the BBC Symphony Orchestra, the Herbert Art Gallery in Coventry, and so many other great organizations. And I also run a social enterprise called BASE, which stands for Be Engaged Everywhere. And we create workshops that we mentor young kids in Coventry between the ages of 11 and 18-year-olds. And we teach them poetry, how to write poetry, how to songwrite, and production, sound engineering, that sort of thing as well. So yeah.
Okay, so you do that on a regular basis.
On a regular basis, yeah.
Okay, and that must fulfill a need, I'm sure. For are they like inner city kids? Would you say that?
Yeah. Most of them are young people from disadvantaged backgrounds. We also work with the Coventry Boys and Girls Club in the city as well, where I offer some mentoring with their music project, and that takes us in schools. We work with youth offenders as well. So it's just it's almost like a creative sort of ecosystem that works pretty well within itself, where I'm able to kind of reach out to young people who come from the same sort of situations like I did growing up, and I'm able to give back in that way.
Is there a moment that you can pinpoint for yourself that you found validation in? I can express myself. And how old were you when that sort of happened?
That's a good question. I think for me, I remember the moment, and it was probably when I was about 6 or 7 years old, and my mom was a big believer of chase your dreams sort of thing, like if you love something, work hard for it and just kind of chase it. And I remember she always used to kind of push me to entertain a family, whether it was like a birthday party or whether it was a gathering. I'll read a poem, or I'll do some music, or I'll do a dance. And from there, I kind of had the almost like the confidence to be expressive, which was it was submerged during my teenage years until I was able to sort of regain a sense of identity and what it really meant to express yourself and the power that your voice has as well.
So, and that was when you were, about age would you have sort of had a more adult attitude towards doing it?
18, 19, I would say. 18, 19. Yeah, when I really understood the power of voice and the power that every individual has in terms of your uniqueness is your voice, and how do you use that, to impact, to empower, and to be a benefit, to your community. So yeah.
How old are you now?
I'm 29 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you encounter a lot of kids? Maybe, I don't know. I mean, do you work with boys? And you work with boys and girls, I suppose.
Yeah.
Is there
majority boys that we work with. Yeah.
Okay. And do you encounter a lot of kids that find that it's so common among writers as well? Like, there's always this thing: am I the person that should say something? Is it worthwhile what I'm saying? Do you encounter that a lot? People not really feeling secure about expressing themselves?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, if you've grown up in the communities that we've grown up in, it's more sort of the sense of, because you come from a working class background, you always feel like, you're the least in society. So there's always that thing of, does your voice matter? You know what I mean? And you go to schools, maybe you're in a last set, or maybe, you're getting in trouble a lot, and whatever it is. So you end up sort of thinking, you have no value to give out, and I feel like the reason why I love working with young people is, I'm able to sort of, and myself and my colleagues as well, we're able to sort of reaffirm and almost like re-water the seed that they already have, because one thing that made me sort of understand the importance of voice was, my first of all was like my sister, who always used to speak certain words. She'd say to me, you're a leader, you're not a follower, and all these things, just like words of affirmation. And then next person was my music teacher, who would say the same thing. And the next person would be my mentor. And before you knew it, these seeds that they were watering began to grow, and I began to have a sense of identity and a sense of confidence in what I had to say. But I think it does take time but you might not get that sense of affirmation at home or your community. So it's just like, where do you sort of find it? And I think the duty of, us as poets, as writers, as creatives, to continue empowering young people who are from those situations, or just people in general, so yeah.
That's great. It sounds really great. Do you see a financial future for yourself in spoken word?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's not easy. Definitely not easy. Yeah, it's definitely not easy, but I always say, like, and this is why I continue to push the boundaries of spoken word as much as I can, to infuse music, to infuse, different things that will be attractive to, the younger ear, because it's funny, I'll go to school and I tell kids, I'm a poet, and they're like, oh gosh, okay, like, really, sir, you can't be a poet. And I'm like, what do you mean I can't be a poet? So it's like all these things that when they hear the word poet, they just think Shakespeare, they just think English teacher. This is what they've learned, and that's it. And then I'll share my work with them. They're like, sir, that's poetry. That is really what? And it's those things that are great. But I feel like, yeah, so the finance side, I think it's just about continuing to push the boundaries and just, working hard, and trying to do the best I can. But I guess that's just it's almost like, yeah, you have to get paid for it and it's your work, but at the same time, I think the bigger picture is to be able to have a platform to continue inspiring more young people to chase their dreams. I think for me, that's the key goal.
That's a great goal. There's two videos online that I really loved. One is Canal, I cannot pronounce it right. Canal Basin Blues, is that it?
Yeah, Canal Basin Blues, yes.
Canal Basin Blues,
yes,
okay.
Yeah.
Can you because there's some really beautiful lines in that, very, I mean, I read somewhere that you often write at traffic lights.
Yeah, I do. I actually do. Oh, what did you read that? What? Oh,
it's an interview with Fire and Dust.
Okay. Yeah, I tend to do that. Yeah, I tend to. I was like, how did you? You're psychic.
Totally.
Yeah, but yeah, that's I really. that poem really stemmed from a really difficult situation where, you know, a young person hung themselves on the. So in Coventry, we've got this ring road, and on this ring road, we've got this bridge, basically, it's called the Canal Basin Bridge, and the person hung themselves on that
Oh, wow.
bridge. But the way it's kind of situated is, you know, you kind of, to leave town, you kind of have to go past that. It's like a ring road. So a lot of people saw this basically, and you know, some people were taking videos of it and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like for me, it kind of pushed me to reflect on my own journey with mental health, and also to kind of see where I was mentally, you know. So, you know, dealing with a lot of, like, you know, trauma and stuff from a young age, you kind of sometimes, again, it's the whole thing of, you know, growing up, we never really spoke about mental health. We never really sat down with friends and said, you know what, I'm not feeling great today, or this and that. That was never part of the conversation, you know. And then you kind of let it almost linger for a while until something like that hits you, and it allows you to evaluate and think, okay, where are you with this, you know, how is it affecting your life, you know. And that's kind of the inspiration behind Canal Basin Blues, to kind of, you know, reach out to people to start thinking deep about their own mental health, but also to go back to loving each other, you know, rather than, you know, paying attention by recording this person's, you know, this person, you know, hanging, you know, like it's can we go back to humanity, you know, like life is, you know, the social media life is not reality, you know. We live life in a real life, and that's, you know, loving people and being in person with people. And I think that was kind of like the push towards Canal Basin Blues, to remind people to love each other, to be there for one another. And everyone's going through different journeys, and everyone has different battles, but together we're much stronger. And I think that's what I wanted to sort of highlight with Canal Basin Blues. Yeah.
Can you say a little more about your journey with mental health? About, you know, what did you find help? Did you find methods to use, magic moments?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still learning how to sort of to manage, to sort of I understand that it's okay sometimes if I'm not feeling right. So because the way I am, it's like I'm on a go, I'm like on a tee. So like sometimes it's you need that moment of stillness to sort of see, okay, are you okay? Like, what's going on, you know? And it's all right to kind of dwell on a moment. Like if it's a negative moment, to dwell on and then figure out ways to fix it, rather than just like disregarding it and then thinking it's gone, where it might still linger. And I think it's just about being able to communicate as well. You know, that's the difficult thing. You know, growing up, we've had to grow up quite tough. You've had to grow up a certain way. You've had to grow up sort of being a man's man. You know, man's man don't talk about their feelings in that way. You know, so it's about, you know, I've had to have conversations with friends of mine, you know, where we've opened up and we spoke about certain things and kind of try to almost, you know, get rid of that stigma, you know, that to be a man's man, you can't talk about, you know, depression or whatever it is. Yeah, you can talk about it and still be a man's man and still be, you know, your own person in that sense, you know. And for me, it's kind of the crazy thing is, I remember I shared a poem in a school, and I spoke about my journey with mental health and stuff. And I remember, you know, a 16-year-old boy came up to me in an assembly and he was crying, you know, he was crying his eyes out. And, you know, for a minute I was thinking, you know, what's going on? And, you know, people were looking at him, but he didn't care. He was just crying, and I pulled him to the side, and I had a conversation with him, and he was saying how he was dealing with mental health, and he was coming to the point where he wanted to give up. But because he saw somebody, you know, express and talk about, you know, audibly, he felt the confidence to kind of break out, and that was in tears, but he just broke out. And I was so proud of him because, you know, he was a young lad and people were looking at him, but that for him, that was that moment of freedom. And then I realized the power of just speaking honestly about what we go through on a day to day. So, yeah.
So he was basically very moved.
Yeah, he was moved because for him, his battle was, you know, he felt like giving up. You know, he was bullied, he was going through depression, and, you know, he felt like giving up, and he felt like he couldn't talk to anybody. You know. And when I kind of expressed my journey with mental health, and he saw somebody who, you know, maybe he admired, and he felt like, you know, if John can stand there and talk about it, I can break free from this feeling of not being able to talk about it. So, and yeah, so for me, it's just that it's a reminder of, you know, I might have released that poem thinking I'm just helping myself, but you never know who's heard it and who's inspired by it to kind of, you know, evaluate their lives and their journey with mental health.
Okay, great. Yeah. I Love You Beyond Words is your other video clip that I found really moving. Can you say something about that?
Yeah, so that one was inspired by my wife. So yeah, I wrote that about my wife, and my wife's actually the person featuring in a video as well.
Okay, I was
Yeah,
hoping she would be not like a kind of model, but it looked so tender and
real.
sincere. Yeah, it looked really.
Oh, okay. But yeah. So I wrote that one. So again, that one is funny because there's a line there that said that I've walked past a house so many times when I was young to never realize that was where my future lived. So it's crazy how you go past the path so many times and never know that one day that will be a future sort of moment for you as well. That's how kind of life works in so many ways. But yeah, that was dedicated to my wife.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
beautiful. Well, thank you, John, and I really, really look forward to seeing you in Clownikilty on the 9th of August at 8:30. Okay.
I'm excited.
Okay. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, you'll also be in Cork, by the way, in Bhéal. That's on the Monday, the 8th. And that's on a hybrid session, partly on Zoom, partly live.
Okay. So we
Okay.
start off on Monday and then Tuesday and then.
Yeah, I don't know. That's all I know. You might have
Okay.
a long itinerary, but I'm only aware of Monday and Tuesday. My tunnel vision is short term. Okay, thanks very much.